Okay, so we're going to dive right into this, you guys, while my mind is fresh and I just watched this opening. Okay, that's all I've watched so far is this opening. And dear goodness, this man he's trying to incriminate what was totally peaceful, okay, on the side of the Trump supporters, the patriots, free thinkers. They were all peaceful. But you had infiltrators that we are aware of, and obviously they try to silence that's the fact. I mean, Trump tried to get a bunch of people there to protect the Capitol building, and Nancy denied it. So there's always that too. And so what we're seeing here is he is, in my opinion, trying to put a label on us. He is trying to can I say this? Like put a little golden star on us? Like this is literally what I see happening here. And he even goes as far as to mention family members turning their loved ones in. What does that remind you of? So let me just play this because I don't know. I'm pretty pissed off right now, to be honest.
There we go. So good morning, Chairman Durman, Ranking Member Grassley, members of the committee. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today to talk about the great work of the men and women of the FBI. Let me start with a quick update on the investigation into the January 6th attack here at the Capitol.
Okay, so they label it as an attack. Remember, they like to change what really happened. So in the news they write off, they said it was a terrible thing, it was an attack, all this stuff. And we all know there's people on the ground that we are aware of. There was a lot of patriots there that confirmed that the groups that were there to support the president and the movement, they pretty much took off after the fact. So his mislabeling is just pathetic. So I will continue.
I was appalled, like you, at the violence and destruction that we saw that day. I was appalled that you, our country's elected leaders, were victimized right here in these very halls. That attack, that siege, was criminal behavior, plain and simple, and it's behavior that we, the FBI, view as domestic terrorism.
Okay, so they view that as domestic terrorism. Let's just say, Antifa people went in there, whatever you want to say. You could say it was, I don't want to label it because it wasn't that. But let's say what he's saying is true. What has been happening all of last year, the rioting, cars being set on fire, buildings being set on fire with people inside of them. And where has the FBI been? I'm talking so much destruction, people breaking into people's homes, people attacking people on the streets. Where has the FBI been for that?
It's got no place in our democracy, and tolerating it would make a mockery of our nation's rule of law. The rule of law, of course, is our country's bedrock, and it's our guiding principle at the FBI.
And notice how he goes back to that, and he's reiterating the rule of law. He's trying to embed that what happened there that day was absolutely terrible, and we need action, okay? But where was the rule of law for the whole previous year? So we'll continue.
That's why the FBI has been working day and night across the country to track down those responsible for the events of January 6th and to hold them accountable. We're chasing down leads, we're reviewing evidence, combing through digital media to identify, investigate, and arrest anyone who broke the law that day. And our greatest partner in this investigation has been the American people themselves.
So when he's saying that, he's talking about the infiltrators online. And I have seen them. I saw a meme going around that had a bunch of photos. Like it was a combination of like maybe 20, 30 photos of people from that time, the event. And they put them together and they were posting them like memes. And so I followed them and they were all tagging the FBI. And there was a lot of them. And so then I kept on clicking and I, found links and it literally took me straight to the FBI and they were using these same photos and as tips and all this stuff and tracking these people down. Now, I know that there were people there that did cause troubles, but that was like 1% to the masses that showed up. And I believe that's why Trump wanted a lot of people to go there as a counter move to this, because we recorded it, we watched it, we had people on the ground, we were the news. We are the news. So that when these guys come out with this bullcrap, that is not true and does not represent all of us as a movement at all. Like we knew right away what that was about. So anyways, this man, this is also, by the way, a threat. I just want to point this out. It's a clear threat. I knew right away when he did it. This is a soft, like, FBI. But we all know, and I'm not going to say all of the FBI, but a lot of the people that work in the FBI are infiltrators. They're traitors because they refused to look into things, and they've actually, I think, been involved in things. So I won't go off too much on that kind of stuff, but I'm just saying, this man, oh man, we'll continue.
Constituents. Citizens from around the country have sent us more than 270,000 digital media tips. Some have even taken the painful step of turning in their friends or their family members.
Okay, that's what I was telling you. That's the spot right there. Some of them have even taken a painful step because the state demands it. We must obey. Let's turn in our friends and family because they're free thinkers. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It was definitely a setup, okay? All this is to frighten the people that stand up for truth and are pointing out on a daily basis the corruptness that has happened within our government. And so, anyways, this is a straight up like, I'm here. Don't mess with me. Be afraid. I need you to take your regular fear pill today.
But with their help, we've identified hundreds of suspects and opened hundreds of investigations in all but one of our 56 field offices. And of those identified, we've arrested already more than 270 individuals to date, over 300 when you include the ones of our partners, with more subjects being identified and charged just about every single day. The FBI is committed to seeing this through, no matter how many people it takes or how long or the resources we need to get it done, because as citizens, in a sense, we're all victims of the January 6th assault, and the American people deserve nothing less.
It was the American people that was there. Duh. Do you see this? It's so funny. It's just so funny to watch. Just take note. When he's saying this, by the way, like whoever's watching this, it's not the 99% of people that were there did have no participation in any of this. Okay? It was a setup. It's like one kid's bad and then it blames everyone else. It says everyone else was involved. That's not true. It was that one kid. And they take it and they milk it and they turn it into some fancy tasty cheese for you to eat. So that's what we got going on here. Sorry. I just had to interject. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go.
Unfortunately, as you noted, Mr. Chairman, January 6th was not an isolated event. The problem of domestic terrorism has been metastasizing across the country for a long time now, and it's not going away anytime soon.
Wow.
At the FBI, we've been sounding the alarm on it for a number of years now. I've been sounding the alarm about domestic terrorism since, I think, just about my first month on the job when I first started appearing up on the Hill. And I've spoken about it in maybe a dozen different congressional hearings. So whenever we've had the chance, we've tried to emphasize that this is a top concern and remains so for the FBI. In fact, we viewed it as such a critical threat that back in June of 2019, under my leadership, we elevated racially and ethnically motivated violent extremism to our highest threat priority, on the same level with
Here we go. He's going to say it.
ISIS and homegrown violent extremists.
Okay. So I'm going to be a little bold here. ISIS, that they pretty much created, okay? The deep state was involved in this. There could be haters. Go ahead and attack me. If you look into it, you will find that they created ISIS, okay? The extremist part of what it is and what they did. And we gave them guns and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so he's comparing good, regular American people as the top threat level compared to ISIS. Okay, people chopping people's heads off. Now, again, there was this 1%, this group that went in, okay? We can have ideas of who they were, if they were bought and paid for. There was definitely an agenda being played out. But take note, one of our peoples, or one of the persons that was in there trying to go through, was shot by them, okay? So, first of all, there's that. So, but even that, even if you say, okay, that was completely fine, which I don't think it was fine at all. It could have been a plant. It could have been all kinds of things. There's all kinds of stuff about that. And I won't really go into that. But the fact is, for him to be crying and whining about this like it was something absolutely nuts. There was enough people that could have left that freaking Capitol building in rubble. Okay? The amount of people that were there, if they wanted to, oh my gosh, there'd be nothing standing. So for them to call this like a crazy, extreme, domestic terrorist threat on the same level as ISIS, people chopping people's heads off, this guy's smoking something, okay? But beyond that, he's a mouthpiece to cause fear to all of us that are spreading the truth. We know that all the stuff we've been saying has been silenced. It's because it doesn't go with their program, okay? Their New World Order program, it doesn't fit. So they have to get, dare I say, rid of the problem. And this is the first steps. And I'm not trying to like freak anyone out. I'm just saying that be aware of what you're seeing here. Be aware of what they're doing here. It's mind manipulation to the people that are watching that are still asleep. It's making them fearful and afraid of us. And then the other part is he's trying to make us afraid as well. He's trying to cause us to hide and be afraid that the FBI is going to come looking for you. But the truth is, you have your rights. You had every right to be there. I mean, as long as you didn't participate in any violence, you're golden. Okay? You have the right to go out there, especially to see your president. Okay? There was nothing wrong with that. And I really appreciated everything Trump said. And even at the end, he said, everybody go home peacefully. He very much reiterated the fact that the patriots and the followers, people that supported him and the movement, that they were to go home peacefully and to do so that night. And he was a very wise leader to say that. So, anyways, we'll get back to this hoo-ha. I'm actually, I tried it. I try to go through it. I try to don't talk, Abby. Just let him finish. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard.
Where it remains to this day. Now, I'm sure we're going to cover a lot of ground today, but let me make one thing clear. The FBI will not tolerate agitators and extremists who plan or commit violence, period. And that goes for violent extremists of any stripe. As I've said many times, we do not investigate ideology, but we focus on acts of violence and violations of federal law. And when we see those, we will bring to bear the full weight of our resources, our experience, and our partnerships. And when domestic violent extremists use explosive devices, when they attack government facilities and businesses, when they assault law enforcement officers, when they use violence to interfere with the lawful operation of our government, they should expect the FBI to come knocking on their door, no matter where they try to run. Now, of course, these are not the only issues the FBI is focused on every day, and as I hope we'll discuss in more detail, this morning we confront a wide variety of threats in countless other forms, like the solar winds intrusions, which we're working to investigate and counter with our intelligence, law enforcement, and private sector partners, both here and abroad. Not to mention a huge range of other cyber threats from nation states, criminals, and toxic combinations of the two, like the vast, unrelenting counterintelligence threat from China, and of course the alarming threat of violence towards law enforcement officers, a threat that's especially close to home here in the Capitol. The attack on January 6th not only resulted in the injuries of over 100 law enforcement officers, but also the tragic death of U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick in the line of duty. The threat of violence to law enforcement is also deeply personal for us at the FBI. Just 1 month ago today, 2 of our special agents, Laura Schwarzenbarger and Dan Alfin, were tragically killed in the line of duty, and 4 more of our agents shot or wounded, all while serving a search warrant. And I can tell you that there is nothing more devastating, more heartbreaking than the loss of our own. The loss of 2 special agents who not only bravely did what I consider one of the hardest jobs in the FBI, investigating crimes against children, but who were also each parents of young children themselves, of their own, a wife, a husband, and cherished members of their communities. And I know a number of members of Congress, including a number on this committee, reached out and offered their condolences and offerings of support, and I want you to know how much that means to the FBI and how much it means to me personally. Special Agents Laura Schwarzenbarger and Dan Alfin sacrificed their lives that day, like far too many of our law enforcement brethren also killed in the line of duty. Their ultimate sacrifice was not in vain. It was to protect the American people, it was to protect each of us. And it's why no matter what comes our way, our work to safeguard the rule of law, to protect the American people, and to uphold the Constitution goes on and will never stop. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I look forward to answering the questions.
So there you have it.
Thanks, Director. We'll have...
Now, I support all the police officers that still uphold the Constitution and protecting the people. There's nothing wrong with that. I support it 100%. But his false labeling of the event and what I see going on behind the scenes, I do not support. And I would just hope everybody could really look into it. A lot of stuff was censored. You know, they wanted to paint this picture that it was a terrible event, that Trump was commanding his posse of whatevers to attack the Capitol. But just that narrative is laughable. We have always been very peaceful and very kind in general as a whole. And I hope that we continue to do so. And it's very honorable, and it's how we will gain respect. But also to call out this grouping that's happening, this false labeling of us, basically stating that the whole thing, we were all terrorists. Anybody that supported it, anyone was there, domestic terrorists, and to just, to label us, to put this flag on us, to distinguish us as different than the rest of the population. And by doing so, causing more hate and more people to willingly accept the next stages of this. So let's just hope it doesn't go to that. But I see just censorship of everything that is truthful and nothing but lies. And I see the patriots being grouped in a category to be attacked. And the FBI going as far as to say that there's been family members that are turning in their loved ones. Now, hopefully these are just all the actual criminals that did do some shape or form of destruction on the Capitol building. But in general, I think it's spread a lot farther than that. I think that they're looking into basically anybody that was there. And you have your right to be there. You had every right to be there. And as long as you didn't do anything violent, you're just fine. And do not have these guys tell you otherwise. It is your right to meet out in public with your fellow friends, family, patriots, and listen to a president speak. There was nothing violent about that. It was the most beautifulest thing I think I've ever seen. And just the hope and the amount of power that everyone held. And they controlled themselves. And they saw the trap. And I'm proud of all of us. Like, all of you guys that were there, like, wow. You saw it, you knew right away, called it out, you left early, you listened to the president. And so, anyways, that's my take on this Yahoo. Christopher Wray. So anyways, yeah. Don't lose hope, guys. This is a sign that we are still a problem. Enough for the FBI to come out and talk about it. So just keep on pressing on. Keep on spreading the truth. Keep on going back to those platforms. Like, really, that's the battlefield. I know it's tough. I know some people that have lost accounts, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. Like, you guys are true warriors. You get hit down, you come back. And that's what we're supposed to do. If we just stay in these other areas, guys, we can encourage each other there. We can put our content there. But the battlefield is out on the battlefield. It is the ground where we're trying to win the minds of men, okay? And women. That is the plan. At least I firmly believe in that. So anyways, I'm gonna stop blabbing here, and I feel like I'm chewing you guys out. I'm not. I just get a little riled when I see this stuff. I can see the bigger picture, and I'm like, oh, they're up to their sneaky little moves again. Well, we gotta call them out. And so this is my take. So you guys take care. Don't lose hope, and never forget, where we go one, we go all.